Hey, thanks for joining me on my next video here, going through a list of wallets I was able to test out and try. Getting rid of my old George Costanza wallet. This time we're going to have a couple of samples from Scudo USA. They are a SC9 Pure and an SC6. This is the most modern version. That's in, I believe, the Diablo Red, and this one is in the Tactical OD Green, which was a limited edition. Okay, let's get started. So, like most of my other videos, I'll show you what I do. I typically carry 7 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe a bill or two, and a couple of printed out insurance cards. You never know when you have a rental car, get pulled over, cop wants to see your proof of insurance. I always like to have it on me just in case. Fun times. Anyway, so originally I picked up the SC9. This was the first one. Move some of the stuff out of the way. We'll do each of them individually. So this is the first one I picked up. I actually ordered a black one, and one of the folks from Scudo contacted me saying, hey, I still have one of the OD Tactical Greens left over, limited edition, would you like it? And I'm saying, well, I'm always a sucker for a limited edition. Sure, send me that one. Very cool, very well made. This is the one that has the extra big lanyard attachment that I really didn't need. I was happy to see that they sort of eliminated that in the next version. The purpose of these videos, before I get too far into it, was that a lot of folks have really great videos out there for overviews of these wallets, manufacturers and Walletopia especially, but I always found I learned something, at least one thing with each of these wallets, and I felt were not addressed in the current videos, so I wanted to do some of my own. So the first thing that hit me when I picked this out of the box was the carbon fiber was very, 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 very rigid. What I mean by that is, if you watch the videos, the marketing videos, and some of the other testing videos, people pick these up, and I have pretty large hands. Peekaboo, peekaboo wallet. Pretty large hands, so I'm not a little person. And we're basically just flicking this, and it was opening, and you're very easily able to get all the cards in and out of it. What I found was when I first picked this one up, I took my 7 cards, I threw it in there, and I would pull this with my thumb a little bit. I can get maybe 1 or 2 cards out before it locks. But the carbon fiber was so rigid at least this way, that it would flex. And this is what would happen. I would be pushing with my thumb, and it wouldn't actually fully release. It would actually look like this, and I couldn't really easily get the cards out. So when I figured out there was better ways to use it, I actually used 2 hands. Maybe use your other hand as an additional leverage point to pull the cards. So more like this. And what I ended up doing was actually taking the carbon fiber and flexing it about 1,000 times. I did 100 flexes till my hands were a little tired. And then later on did another 100 flexes. And I did that about 10 times, to the point where now the carbon fiber is really nice and loose. You obviously, depending on how you grab it, you can easily prevent yourself from opening if you grab it improperly, so you really sort of have to kind of have a technique. But the carbon fiber there was really, really, really stiff, and would just basically do this on me. Here, do that on me without me being able to get the cards out. So it was not quite as the easy flick that they made it look like in the videos. Now, after I exercised the carbon fiber, it's much more like you'd expect, like you see in the videos, much easier. Now, I would take, what I figured worked well for me, is I would take one of my probably absolutely least used cards, put it in the back, take my faux insurance cards and a bill, Use that as almost an extra spring or buffer. I don't use cash or insurance cards very often. Put the rest of the cards in the front. Work like a champ. You want to get to the first card or two, you can easily just use your thumb. Keep in mind where the rest of your hand is sitting is important. Right? So it is a little bit awkward. You got to kind of get used to the fact that like there really isn't a whole lot to hold. Trying to move that carbon fiber without actually grabbing the carbon fiber a little bit. So easily get a couple of cards out, use this hand to help. And then for me, what I found was the best was actually use this thumb and this finger to pull the cards in and out. Obviously, it's a little weighty because of the thick aluminum, but it's actually really, really thin. In the other video I showed, I have a SC6. These are actually slightly thinner. Hard to show. Here, do it this way. Slightly thinner than even the very minimalist Scudo. So I really like this wallet. Obviously, not quite as gadgety as a Phantom or the Scudo, but very protective. Very rugged, very well made. This is one of these wallets that I believe probably will last me the rest of my life. Assuming I don't decide to play too much more with the flexing the carbon. This did have the Damascus clamp. The pictures all showed plain ones. I didn't know it was going to come with the Damascus, but it's fine. And this was a cool little wallet. Now these are limited edition now. I think they're not making too many more of them. And what I use this one for these days, actually the cards that I have around that I don't carry, I put in this and I store in the safe. So for me, this is a nice little easy way to put all the cards that I don't need to carry with me every day. And that's what I use that for, because I got the itch to have the upgrade with the fast card slot, the extra slots and features of an SC6. So I upgraded to a new SC6. Diablo Red with the carbon clamp style. It does have a bit more of a feel to it. I mean, they both kind of do, I guess, but you can... Yeah, they both kind of do, I guess. They're definitely... you can feel... They have a texture to them, so... you know, I don't know that I'd want to rub it directly against my skin all day, but I don't. I put it in my pocket and don't even notice it exists. So I picked up an SC6, but yes, I carry 7 cards plus some extra things. I pinged Scudo and said, okay, when you say SC6, is it 5 plus 1 or is it 6 plus 1? And I actually got a little bit of a snotty response saying the SC6 is a 6 and the SC9 is a 9. And I looked at it, that email, with a squinty eye and said, you know what, I bet you I could fit 7 in there since none of my cards are actually embossed cards, are all regular cards. I suspect they're sandbagging the actual capacity. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yep, easily 6 here. The carbon fiber still has plenty of protection. You can see it's still sitting well underneath the lip of the aluminum. Pulling them out. When I picked up this one, I found the carbon fiber was a lot more pliable. I didn't have to break it in like I did the pure. So these are hand-laid carbon fiber. Maybe there's some variance between the different ones or how tight they tighten the clamp, or who knows. But I didn't really have to break this one in. It was still already pretty flexible. It's still not quite as flexible as it looks in some of the videos. It still has some side-to-side flex to it, so you got to pull it out a little bit further. Again, I kind of do a 2-finger thing to get the cards. And although these cards are super smooth, I find when I have 6 real cards, I can feel a little bit of friction, a little teeny tiny bit of friction here when I pull a card out, but still well protected. So there's 6 cards in there, 1 card in the fast slot. Now the stainless steel has a whole lot less flex left to right, so flicking that out with your thumb to get the card out is much easier, right? You know what I mean? So much easier to get that card in and out. And then the cash slot is a little weirder because there are no tabs. So what I tend to do is I pull it out, put my 2 faux insurance cards in there, paper insurance cards in there. Actually, my real ones are a little shorter than that, but you get the idea. And then the bill, and then snap it. But be careful doing that method. I have pinched myself a couple of times in the corners. So getting the bills in and out, not quite, you know, maybe it would have been nice if there was a tab or something extra. Definitely not that big a deal to get the stuff in and out, but it's a little more fidgety than you probably would expect it to be. I don't use cash very much, so I don't really care. But yeah, it's a little less easy than maybe some other alternatives. But the positive is they're built like tanks. They definitely protect your cards more than, you know, Phantom, Exto, some of the other options out there. Yeah, there's a little bit of card showing here and there, but not very much. Right? Bill may get crinkled a little bit, but again, who cares? But yeah, so that was what I learned. On this one, I learned that it says 6. I easily got 7 in it. These are all fake cards, but the real cards are really no different. And this guy, that plate really needed to be broken in a lot. It was much stiffer to articulate, and more, you know, stiffer to articulate and more flexible laterally, I guess. So, but breaking it in made a huge difference. So I really enjoyed both of these. I tend to carry this one most of the time of my set now. This is, I think, the one I have chosen as the chosen one. This one is used for my non-carry cards, to throw them in a safe and keep them protected. Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful. Thanks.